George Bernard Shaw was an Irish playwright, critic, polemicist, and political activist who lived from July 26, 1856 to November 2, 1950. He preferred to be referred to simply as Bernard Shaw. From the 1880s until his death and beyond, he had a significant impact on Western politics, theater, and society. He produced over 60 plays, including well-known pieces like Man and Superman in 1902, Pygmalion in 1913, and St. Joan, 1923. Shaw rose to prominence as a dramatist of his period and received the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1925 for works that combine historical allegory and modern satire. Make it a rule never to give a child a book you would not read yourself. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. If you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh, otherwise they'll kill you. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world, the unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Animals are my friends, and I don't eat my friends. If you cannot get rid of the family skeleton, you may as well make it dance. There is no love sincerer than the love of food. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. There are two tragedies in life. One is to lose your heart's desire. The other is to gain it. People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want, and if they can't find them, make them. The liar's punishment is, not in the least that he is not believed, but that he cannot believe anyone else. Youth is wasted on the young. Never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty and a pig likes it. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. When two people are under the influence of most violent, most insane, most delusive, and most transient of passions, they are required to swear that they will remain in an excited, abnormal, and exhausting condition continuously until death do them part. Why should we take advice on sex from the Pope? If he knows anything about it, he shouldn't. Success does not consist in never making mistakes but in never making the same one a second time. A Native American elder once described his own inner struggles in this manner: inside of me there are two dogs. One of the dogs is mean and evil. The other dog is good. The mean dog fights the good dog all the time. When asked which dog wins, he reflected for a moment and replied, "The one I feed the most." Patriotism is, fundamentally, a conviction that a particular country is the best in the world because you were born in it. You use a glass mirror to see your face, you use works of art to see your soul. The most tragic thing in the world is a man of genius who is not a man of honor. All great truths begin as blasphemies. What you are to do without me I cannot imagine. Criminals do not die by the hands of the law. They die by the hands of other men. He who can, does. He who cannot, teaches. Life does not cease to be funny when people die any more than it ceases to be serious when people laugh. We learn from experience that men never learn anything from experience. Power does not corrupt men. Fools, however, if they get into a position of power, corrupt power. The power of accurate observation is commonly called cynicism by those who have not got it. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. We don't stop playing because we grow old because we stop playing. You'll never have a quiet world till you knock the patriotism out of the human race. When a stupid man is doing something he is ashamed of, he always declares that it is his duty. Doing what needs to be done may not make you happy, but it will make you great. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Censorship ends in logical completeness when nobody is allowed to read any books except the books that nobody can read. Do not do unto others as you would that they should do unto you. Their tastes may not be the same. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got a hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations. The difference between a lady and a flower girl is not how she behaves, but how she's treated. No man ever believes that the Bible means what it says. He is always convinced that it says what he means. When you loved me, I gave you the whole sun and stars to play with. I gave you eternity in a single moment, strength of the mountains in one clasp of your arms, and the volume of all the seas in one impulse of your soul. In heaven an angel is no one in particular. If you can't appreciate what you got, you better get what you can appreciate. Silence is the most perfect expression of scorn. I choose not to make a graveyard of my body for the rotting corpses of dead animals. As long as I have a want, I have a reason for living. Satisfaction is death. Choose silence of all virtues, for by it you hear other men's imperfections, and conceal your own. Do not waste your time on social questions. What is the matter with the poor is poverty. What is the matter with the rich is uselessness. While we ourselves are the living graves of murdered beasts, how can we expect any ideal conditions on this earth? A gentleman is one who puts more into the world than he takes out. Imitation is not just the sincerest form of flattery, it's the sincerest form of learning. Happy is the man who can make a living by his hobby. You have learned something. That always feels at first as if you have lost something. First love is only a little foolishness and a lot of curiosity. The secret of being miserable is to have leisure to bother about whether you're happy or not. The cure for it is occupation, because occupation means preoccupation, and the preoccupied person is neither happy nor unhappy, but simply alive and active. That is why it is necessary to happiness that one should be tired. We have no more right to consume happiness without producing it than to consume wealth without producing it. I have defined the 100% American as 99% an idiot. Democracy is a device that ensures we shall be governed no better than we deserve. Beware of false knowledge, it is more dangerous than ignorance. I'm an atheist and I thank God for it. Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. You don't stop laughing when you grow old, you grow old when you stop laughing. When a man wants to murder a tiger he calls it sport, when a tiger wants to murder him he calls it ferocity. Better keep yourself clean and bright, you are the window through which you must see the world. When a thing is funny, search it carefully for hidden truth. The fact that a believer is happier than a skeptic is no more to the point than the fact that a drunken man is happier than a sober one. The happiness of credulity is a cheap and dangerous quality of happiness, and by no means a necessity of life. The man who writes about himself in his own time is the only man who writes about all people and all time. There are those that look at things the way they are, and ask why. I dream of things that never were, and ask why not. Without art, the crudeness of reality would make the world unbearable. This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being thoroughly worn out before you are thrown on the scrap heap, the being a force of nature instead of a feverish selfish little clod of ailments and grievances complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy. Liquor is the chloroform which enables the poor man to endure the painful operation of living. If you have an apple and I have an apple and we exchange these apples, then you and I will still each have one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas. He knows nothing, and he thinks he knows everything. That points clearly to a political career. A pessimist is a man who thinks everybody is as nasty as himself, and hates them for it. My way of joking is to tell the truth. It's the funniest joke in the world. After all, the wrong road always leads somewhere. The play was a great success, but audience was a dismal failure. Dancing is a perpendicular expression of a horizontal desire. Hatred is the coward's revenge for being intimidated. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the airplane, the pessimist the parachute. The only service a friend can really render is to keep up your courage by holding up to you a mirror in which you can see a noble image of yourself. 2% of the people think, 3% of the people think they think, and 95% of the people would rather die than think. To be in hell is to drift, to be in heaven is to steer. Only in books has mankind known perfect truth, love and beauty. It is dangerous to be sincere unless you are also stupid. There is always danger for those who are afraid. What is life but a series of inspired follies? The difficulty is to find them to do. Never lose a chance, it doesn't come every day. I sold flowers. I didn't sell myself. Now you've made a lady of me, I'm not fit to sell anything else. We are made wise not by the recollection of our past, but by the responsibility for our future. The only way to avoid being miserable is not to have enough leisure to wonder whether you're happy or not. Whiskey is liquid sunshine. The plain working truth is that it is not only good for people to be shocked occasionally, but absolutely necessary to the progress of society that they should be shocked pretty often.
Like and subscribe to this life-changing YouTube channel for more great insightful videos.